It's game time, hoot. What's up, party people? Party people everywhere, party people everywhere. All right, here we go. It's round two. We're officially starting round two. Just to recap, I am working on a picture of my friend that was killed in a bicycle accident. Kind of an emotionally gripping picture for me, yet a picture that I feel that I absolutely must do. We served together in the Army, and he was like one of two people that I would, maybe one of three people that I would say actually took actions to ensure that I was successful in my time in the Army. So when I got the news, I was like, well, I am an artist and I will render my talents to his family, to his survivors. So here we are. We're going to be talking about how to elevate a picture that is largely blocked in, how to refine work that could use refinement, how to identify work that needs refinement. And then we're going to talk about what it means to be an artist and stuff like that. So let's see. Do we want music? I kind of want music, but I'm not gonna stop the show for that. Okay. So I am happy with the drawing. I have made some adjustments from the photograph to the drawing. I encourage you to do the same anytime that you are drawing or painting from a reference, and the reference needs to be kind of close to the final product. I'm going to start with the eye. And this is going to be kind of a touchy thing here because according to the reference, he got kind of squinty when he smiled, and eyes do kind of strange things when they get under heightened pressure and things of that nature. Come on, Dewey. We're recording in spatial audio, man. Anyone watching this is going to think that there's a dog behind them barking. Thank you, Dewey. Okay. So in instances like this, what I suggest that you do is go with what you know to be true. Ingres told Degas, draw lines, many, many, many lines from nature and from memory. And it is in this way that you will become a good artist. So even though our photo is telling us one thing, we're going to do what makes sense here. We want him to look at the viewer, right? We want him to be looking at the viewer, not like down and to the right of the viewer. And I'm not going to do anything harsh like coming in here and drawing a pupil. Like that would be aggressive. right? I keep finding myself doing this. Like, this is what's comfortable. So like, I think I'm going to reposition. Sorry. You'll forgive me. It'll buff. However, one thing that I am going to start doing now is I've got things in the place that I wanted them to be in, right? But now I'm going to start working my contrast. And in the last video, one of the things that I did to define my contrast, especially since I'm working in black and white, let's add that to the list of things to talk about. Hopefully I can get to all this within an hour. I took this photograph that was in color and I set my own parameters for how this photo would behave in black and white. And I'm going to copy those parameters that I set. And I can claim that it's still all my idea, right? This is still all my doing. Those manipulations, those edits are mine. Yes, I use Apple's tools. Did not use any of their presets. Don't come back 300 years later saying that I did. I didn't. I don't know what it matters, if it matters anything at all. Okay. So there's this, I'm sliding here. I'm going to talk about life as I fill this thing in. This thing, his eye. So there's this law in physics that says every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And I'm bringing this up now because I'm talking to you, the artist. What energy are you putting out into this world? How much of it are you putting out? And you know the answer. And you know the answer by what's been returned to you. I have a lot to offer in a lot of different fields. I've lived a lot of different lives. And this one life that I've lived, I've worked in corporate America, on the edge, maybe. I worked as a, what did I do? I answered the phone support, telephone. I was telephone tech support, business assistant. I worked for AT&T. That was fun. Or maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. I learned some things there. Some invaluable lessons. And the next place, where did I go after that? After that, I left corporate America and then I became a visual arts teacher. And did that for 6 years. I taught a group of students from 7th grade through 6 calendar years. It was like 5 school years or something like that. I don't know how it works. I taught art. I didn't teach math. So gotta be careful here. Remember from last time, the eye's round. So if you got some line action around the eye, You've got to round it around the eye. Got to round that flat line. How you do that, it's kind of up to you. However, that line should have round behavior. Okay, once again, I focus here being to now get the proper contrast. So, right now, when you look at this when you look at this drawing, everything is gray. But now we're going to start creating the black. And one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a finer tip pencil. So I look at his eyelashes, right? And they're masculine, so we're not going to do anything like super loops, but still, they're not just straight lines. Once again, they may largely look straight, but we are going to add just a little bit of curl to his eyelashes. Don't copy the photo. It will lead you astray. It will mess you up. Okay. What were we talking about? The energy that we put out and the energy that we receive. And I was telling you about all the different places that I've been and I was starting to tell you the different places that I've been and the different things that I've seen. So I taught art for those years. And then I joined the Army. And that was an interesting experience. I was an officer when I served. However, I went through OCS. So that means that I had to train. I trained as an enlisted soldier. Initially, I went through basic training. Drill sergeants all up in my face, close enough that I could smell what they ate for breakfast. And sometimes it wasn't nothing but cigarettes. Funny story about my joining of the Army. When I was 24 and had not much else going for myself, my dad was like, "Hey, join the military. It'll be good for you." I'm thinking, no. No. But what's funny is, like, one of the things that I am most proud of in my life was the time that I served in the military. Family chat is blowing up today. Granted, there was never, and I'm gonna say this publicly, there was never a day that when I was in the Army that I said to myself, "You absolutely made the right decision." Because there was never a day that was just like easy, or a day where anybody was like, "Hey man, I see you working hard, trying to figure this thing out, giving us your all." Maybe I just straight up sucked. Maybe somebody out there was getting the praise, but it just wasn't me. Okay, so yeah, but there was certainly constant refinement, and like that refinement, that sandpaper hurts. The end result is a beautiful thing. That also takes me back to art school. Like those critiques that we would subject one another to were sometimes just straight up vicious, pain, like emotionally ripping. You just spent a week grinding on a project. Once again, trying your best, trying to do something revolutionary, something that's gonna impress others, and some of those people that would sit in the critique with you were like there with you during that whole week, and they just watching you. And then when it was time to talk about it, surprise, we all hate it. And we set you up for this moment. No one said anything to you, but this picture sucks. This has no value in the art world or beyond. And not only does your drawing suck, so do you. It's like, wait, man, what just happened? Are we talking about this drawing? Are we talking about this picture that you clearly don't like? Or are we talking about me as a... I think it was then that I started to believe what I believe now, that and I'm not saying that anyone else needs to believe this. This is kind of my thing, and that being that I am the art. Sure, you can call me the artist, but the way I see it, I am the art. I am what's being created. I am what's being worked on. And that one's kind of thick. What do you think? Put that one in the comments. I'm gonna have a lot to catch up on when this is. Is that ashiness? No, it's just light. Is that ashes? Nah, it's just light. Try that next time someone calls you out. Or ensure that you moisturize properly before you get on camera and or go outside. But shoot, nowadays anymore, going outside is going on camera. You hear a lot about how London is the most surveyed place in all the world, but oh man. Life is great. God is great. I just finished a commission and it was a gift. You know what? I'm gonna publish that video. It's the song doesn't match at all, or at least it's not. I certainly have songs that would go better with this, but that video was so cool. I don't know. I gotta publish it. You know, I was talking about just a couple minutes ago how there's the energy that you get what you put out, and like, and you know what energy the world has received from you by the energy that's been returned to you, right? And one thing that I know is that I haven't received as much energy from the world as I would like to have received. Therefore, that means this camera that I have that is full of content that I have neglected to release for reason X, Y, and or Z, means I gotta release it. I gotta get it off this camera and onto your screen. Off this camera, off this phone, onto your phone. How am I doing on time? There is a lot going on in Oklahoma City right now. You know what? There's a lot going on in your city right now, wherever you may be. And there's only one way that you can get to any of it, and it's through your ability to schedule. Everything's getting like an hour from me today. This video, an hour. Ooh, man, that might even include posting. So you know what? Guess what? This video just got cut to 45 minutes. Okay, let me back up. All right, so right now, like I said, this whole mission right now is simply adjusting the contrast. I think the very last thing that I'll do is add details because, like, I'm going to be in the picture some. Which is why I took the path that I took. Phase 1 of this drawing, structure. Phase 2 of this drawing, contrast and color. Contrast and color, the picture. What do you mean contrast and color? Hold on, how do I respond to this? Yeah, contrast and color. The picture is black and white. Therefore, I have 4 colors that I get to manipulate. Black, black, gray, and white. Say what? Say what? What does that even mean? Well, when we check back in, or whenever I post this picture, or if you ever get to see it in person, then you will understand how I make an image, how I make a white image on white paper. But to tell you now how I do it, it requires white gray. You gotta have some white gray. How do I make my white gray? Dirty paper. Not dirty, but like I'm keeping this paper very clean. But you can see like my white here, right? Can you see that? Oh, you can't see that. All right. Oh. Well, I mean, there's nowhere that you can really see it in frame right now. Maybe on the teeth. I think you can see some of it on the teeth. Like, I allow my hand to drag through the paper. And that's going to create some smudging, right? So you allow that little light smudging to go across. You allow it to go across everywhere on the paper. And then the spots where you need something to be absolutely white, that is where you erase. It does require some special erasers. And I use the gum eraser and I use the pen eraser. I don't really like to promote any one brand. However, this has been one of the best pencil erasers that I've experienced. I've done like the manual erasers, like the manual pencil erasers, and they're okay, but they don't really. The only one that I've ever been able to find has a rubber tip, and the rubber tip just. It's not strict enough in my findings. It goes with the flow more than I would like for it to. Whereas this mono eraser, I don't know if that's a brand name or if that's a style of eraser. It is a plastic eraser. And it is very firm. So like if I don't want something there, it's going to get rid of it. It's going to get rid of it in a very linear fashion. It's not going to leave a lot of debris. Eyebrows, hair in general, it works best if you start from the root and then stroke. You got to stroke. Otherwise, you will lose your hair behavior, your hairy behavior, and proper texture. Man, I should have turned on the music, but I just got locked in. Well, we don't need the music right now. We'll do the music on the next one or something. I'm super focused. All right. So, I want more. I want more from life. Therefore, I will give more. I will do more. I will be in more places. Got to find that inner Captain America. I can do this all day. You do what all day? Get your butt whooped? That's crazy. You're just getting your butt whooped. You ain't even fighting. You Homer Simpson right now. Getting boxed on. Waiting for them to get tired. That's good. Okay. Still need a little bit more darkness from this eyebrow. You know, eyebrows are kind of funny. You'll look at the eyebrow and you'll see these individual strands of hair. But then you'll see this section that is somehow darker than the other sections. Yet, it's the same hair. All right. So make sure that you got the right contrast. I'm moving around, trying to get around some glare right now. And at this point, I am going to kind of cut my losses and just start creating the contrast that I need from this section. Sure, I could zoom in on the photo and get more information about what's happening in that eyebrow, but I'm not going to do it. I don't advise that you do it. But I want to be a hyper-realistic artist. I want to compete with photographers. Why you want to compete with photographers? What are you saying? You don't respect photography? What are you saying? You don't respect your time? Ooh, shots fired. You know, if you felt some sort of way after hearing that, then I think I apologize. I'm not trying to start a fight. I am not trying. I don't know, man. If you want to be a photographer, and learn as much about crafting your photography as you can, so that should a realistic artist come after you, you can defend yourself, and the technical labor that goes into your art. I remember I saw a photographer that was marketing themselves as a digital photographer, and they were a digital photographer. I want to say that's what it was, that they were a digital photographer, and they were proud of the fact that they had done nothing to edit their photos. To which I was like, well, maybe you should have. While we say that there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer in art, there are. This is how I wanted it to be. Cool. But not cool. Am I the Port Authority? What do you think? Okay. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna check my monitor here, because one of the things that I also want to do is eliminate the blotchiness, which is kind of cool in some spots, but in general, I don't want the blotchiness. A couple ways I can do it. More smudging. Well, honestly, there's really only one way I can do it. More smudging and more application of the lead. In my final pass, there's going to be a balance between lead and smudge. And I'm doing this because, for the sake of uniqueness, for texture, for realism, or, the approach of realism. How could something be real if it's in black and white? That's fair. I didn't want to do this picture in color because the situation has changed. That was a decision that I made early on. Right or wrong, it was a decision that I made. All right. Cool, man. gum eraser was not very friendly there. Like this section that I'm trying to represent, I didn't do it right. Okay, guys, we are in the final 5 minutes or 4 minutes. I'm not sure which camera I'm going off of. It's a little bit closer to what I need. Okay. Man, next time, I'm going to write cue sheets. A cue sheet? I don't know if that's what I'm thinking. But I started off with all those things that I said that we were going to discuss today in the drawing. And I think we got them all, but I also don't remember. Well, let me look at this picture again and see what it is that I wanted to say. Well, we talked about one of the most important things that I know that I talked about was the phases of the drawing and how the first phase was purely about, well, it wasn't purely, it was about primarily getting the structure right, getting the relationship between the eyes and the nose right, nose and the mouth, and I think I might even have this mouth too small still. The mouth, not necessarily like the muzzle section, his muzzle, not just his mouth, not just his lips. And I think some of that came with I refined his jaw a little bit. I touched his jaw. And from the looks of it, I may have a structural issue in the jaw still. But the grayer this picture gets, I think the easier it is to make this correction. Let's see. Can't quite see it in the monitor, unfortunately, but I do believe that I need to do something along the lines of this. And then I'll come back over this. I'll come back like this way to smooth the transition out. Still, phase 1 focus was structure. Phase 2 is going to be focused on getting the contrast so that we have his color. And phase 3 will be the details. If you were wanting something like this for yourself, then this would be what you're seeing right now would be like what I charge as a one pass, or what I call a one pass. And currently, what is today is October the 8th, 2024. I am offering that at $50 for this holiday season. There is a size difference. So this is 14 by 17. And for everyone watching, I can't do 14 by 17 and get you a one pass in an hour. It's just too large. However, 11 by 14 is possible. All right, hit me up. I'm gonna go ahead and fade to black. Maybe I'll put a link on for part 1 if you'd be interested in watching that, to see how I got to where I am now. Listen to some of my music. Part 3 is going to happen, but I'll have all of phase 2 completed before I do part 3. You know what? I'm just jacking my jaws at this point, and I appreciate the time that you all have spent with me. Until I see you again, be blessed by the best. Feel free to contact me. We can talk about art, Army infantry, managing your life as an artist, the opportunities that exist as an artist. We can talk about all that stuff. I am here for you. All right. Until then, guys. Hasta luego.